Hey guys, we're at the lot right now. I just wanted to make a short video explaining the difference between a drainage catch basin and a French drain. A lot of times I'll go and do quotes for homeowners and I ask them what their problem is, and they'll say, well, I have a French drain that's not working, and I'll go to the house and it's a drainage catch basin. Now, you can tie drainage catch basins into French drains. And there's a way to do that, but I want to kind of show you and explain to you what's a French drain, a true French drain, and what's a drainage catch basin. So let's get right into it. All right, so I pulled a couple examples out here that I just had on hand with me at the lot. So on the right side here, we have a 12-inch NDS drainage catch basin, and this is pretty typical. These are on a lot of people's properties. This is what builders install, or landscapers most of the time. And this is just a standard drainage catch basin. Okay, the functionality of this is to catch water from the surface level once the grate's on there, and presumably you have grade that flows nicely into this drain. That would be advantageous, but this just catches water from the surface level. Okay, and I have another example here. This is a NDS channel drain, and it's not a drainage catch basin, but it functions the same. Its job is to catch water from the surface level. You'll see these around pool decks. You'll see these in front of people's garages and stuff. They're used in a couple other applications, but they're usually inset in pavers or concrete, or a combination of the two. Right here is kind of a setup. Let me get this. Sorry, I don't have a film for me right now. This setup is, I would consider this not a drainage catch basin, but kind of a similar setup. So this would be, kind of plumbed into. This is something we tore out, but this is, the same function. It catches water from the surface level. Okay, and that's a drainage catch basin. None of these three are a French drain in the least bit. So let me show you, or at least explain to you what a French drain is. All right, so before I explain to you what a French drain is in my eyes, I kind of want to tell you how I learned this stuff. I own a company called Low Country Drain Tech, and we operate down in the Southeast. And I started landscaping and got into doing drainage work. I started with doing a couple gutter runoffs and just using a level, and now we've gotten to the point where I've got a Mini X. I've got just a new SM100 here, and all I do is drainage solution, either that be sump systems, lift stations, installing anything from 30-inch corrugated all the way down to 4-inch residential, and we do PVC work, no septic or anything, just strictly drainage problems. So this is the way I build French drains, and maybe some people disagree, and I'd love to hear in the comments, and I'd love to learn from you and see what you have to bring to the situation. But I'm just speaking from experience, and that's it. I just wanted to let you guys know what I do and how I learned to do this. And yeah, so let me show you what a French drain is, or at least how we build them. Okay, so at the root of everything, a French drain is what I would consider it as something that will take in water 360 degrees 24/7. So as long as there's moisture in the ground and the ground has a perk rate that's reasonable, the water will move into the trench of a French drain. And this drain is a drain that never stops working, especially when it's raining or if there's wet conditions. So the difference between a drainage catch basin over there and a French drain would be that the French drain will catch water from the subsurface level, not just the surface level. So they're a superior drain system, but that also comes at a cost. So the way I construct French drains is, what I'll do, depending on the size, I'll make a nice box trench. I'll pick where I want to take the water to. Either that's a lift station, a existing storm drain catch basin, or I'll daylight it. Or of course I can take it to a pop-up as long as grade is suitable. So let's say you have a trench, it's nice and boxed in. You want it to be 14 inches wide at least. 16's preferred. The more drainage aggregate, the better. And I'll talk a little bit about drainage aggregates, but the more drainage aggregate, the better. So 16 wide at a minimum is what I build them at. And, you know, at the shallowest, I'll put them at 12 inches, and at the deepest, we'll go up to 4 feet. It doesn't really matter as long as I have, you know, 1% grade. Just because it's a French drain doesn't mean you don't want it to have nice slope. So anyways, that's not, I'll talk on it. If you want, I'll talk on a different video about how I exactly construct them. I just want to tell you the key differences. So this is the fabric I use right here. This is a very, very short piece. I have a longer piece over here. And what I do is I buy it in 12-foot sticks, and I'll cut it down to the size I need for the specific project. But I'll trench out my French drain, and it'll be lined with this fabric. This fabric, actually, I believe, I got it from a customer who's trying to build it himself. This is from the French Drain Man. And let me tell you something, he's got the best content out for French drains, and I learned a lot from him. So if you want someone to look at after this, French Drain Man on YouTube is awesome. But anyways, I think this is his fabric. So this is a double needle punched, non-woven geotextile fabric. This is the exact fabric you want for building French drain systems. You don't want a woven fabric, and you don't want a landscape fabric. This is a fabric, along with the other one I just showed you, is made for drainage. So this is the same fabric that they'll use under highways, or it's very similar construction. Okay, so the trench is going to be lined with this fabric, and you'll have an option of 3 pipes. Typically you'll either have a PVC pipe, but this one's got extra holes in it, but usually these drain just from the bottom up, which I don't agree with, but that's something for a different video. But you'll have this pipe at the bottom of the trench. You'll have a standard slotted 4-inch single wall. This is the ADS corrugated pipe, so it'll have the slats in it. That's pretty typical. And then you'll see this a lot, which is the socked pipe. And you know, this has its place, and it's usually when you have too much fines in the aggregate, it's good to use this. But in aggregate with too much fines, it puts an expiration on the drain. Okay, and then what'll happen is once this pipe's in the trench, and the trench is lined with the fabric, you're going to backfill with your aggregate. So my company, because we're in the Southeast, we don't have super available access to around 1 inch, 1 1/4 round river rock. So what I use for my company is a number 4 granite. All right, and when this is packed in, it's got nice big void. Okay, it's not a round rock. Round rock is optimal with 0 fines. I mean, that's perfect world, but down here it's $250 a yard, which is insane. And this is like $100, and I get it for $55 a ton. So I use number 4, and what you'll see most of the time, and this is a very popular drainage aggregate for huge construction projects or down to residential, is a number 57 granite. Okay, so it's a combination of number 5 and number 7. Usually this rock comes with a heck of a lot more fines than the number 4, and the number 4, you have to use less material. So this is what I use in my French drain. And then once I get a nice backfill, what I'll do, depending on what's going back on top, either that's the pre-existing sod or like a river rock or something, if we're doing an open French drain, etc., I will burrito wrap the fabric and staple it down. Okay, and so that's a true curtain drain French drain. That's really it. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know the difference between a drainage catch basin and a French drain. Okay, I'm just tired of people getting either ripped off by their landscaper or their local drainage guy, septic guy, whatever, saying we're going to install French drains, it'll dry up your whole property, it'll fix your mud hole, and they come in and put 3 of these drainage catch basins, and it's exactly the same, and then I have to come and tear them up and do a French drain system if the ground permits, and it's just frustrating. So I just wanted to make this video explaining that. And if you like the content, like, subscribe, and I'll make more videos kind of explaining how I build them. And I was going to do a trench in here and actually build a French drain for you guys to show you how I do them, how I burrito wrap them. So yeah, thanks guys, thanks for tuning in. Peace.